As we explore the incredible range of health resources across the Garden State, it's become clear that even our full-length monthly episodes of Healthy in the Garden State can't capture it all. That's where this Dose of Health mini-series comes in. Every 2 weeks, we'll introduce you to inspiring individuals working to improve the physical, mental, and emotional well-being of New Jersey residents. In each brief conversation, they'll share practical tips, personal insights, and how you can connect with them to learn more. I'm your host, Kate Cherichello Tente, and I'm thrilled to bring you these individuals creating positive change in our communities. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube at Healthy in the Garden State to catch every new release, and visit healthyinthegardenstate.com for even more health-forward resources. Nicole Sayre is a registered dietitian and founder of Culinary Creatives. With over a decade of experience in nutrition, she creates engaging, hands-on cooking classes for both kids and adults here in New Jersey. Her programs focus on building kitchen confidence and teaching the basics of healthy eating in a fun, approachable way. As a mom herself, she understands the importance of making food both nutritious and enjoyable, and loves helping families build positive connections in the kitchen. Nicole, I'm so glad that we could connect and to chat with you today.
Thanks, Kate. Thanks for having me. I'm
Oh,
excited.
absolutely. And please share with us, why did you decide to focus your career not just on food, but specifically teaching children about food?
Yeah, well, I'm a registered dietitian. I own Culinary Creatives, and I've been a dietitian for about 14 years, and I've just always loved working with kids and families. And I just feel like it's so important for kids to really get that foundation of exploring food and learning skills in the kitchen and just developing that healthy relationship from the start.
Yes, and something I love, you use the phrase kitchen confidence. So can you just break
Mhm.
that down even more for us and about like why it is important at any age?
Yeah, for sure. I grew up like not in the kitchen that much, and now being a mom myself and having a young child, I just think it's so important for kids to just feel comfortable in the kitchen, because that typically will lead to them wanting to try things, be curious, getting involved. So just feeling really, really comfortable and confident in there. And, typically the earlier you start, the better. But if you didn't start when they were little, that's totally fine too. You can really start at any age to get them in the kitchen helping and just feeling like they have the skills to be your partner in there.
That's great. And I also like you talk about choosing food independently. And I love reading more about what you're doing and seeing some of the events you have coming up. What do you see when kids and adults share the kitchen together?
Yeah, typically, when the kids are there involved with the adults, whether it's parents, caregivers, babysitters, whoever it may be, a lot of times we see that they're more willing to try maybe some different foods, or, maybe not even taste it. If they're touching it, if they're smelling it, if they're just exploring it, that's all really great food exposure that can eventually, just help them be a little more adventurous and try foods, and just develop that really healthy relationship that we want with food.
We've been really grateful. I have a very active 2-year-old, and from the start, we've been super mindful to expose him to as many foods as possible. But I know, thinking back, back in the 80s, that just wasn't as maybe common is the right word. It just wasn't as
Yeah,
talked
yeah,
about. Like you gave a child what was at the store or what you had. And I see just the vast array of foods now, avocados and squash
totally.
and just things that I wasn't exposed to as an adult. Do you see a big difference in terms of if a child is exposed to that at a very young age, that they keep having that more expanded palate, if you will, or than someone maybe who hasn't been as exposed? Do you see a big difference? Like, how does that kind of work and develop as they grow?
I think it can show a difference as they get older, really exposing them to a lot of different foods. That's not to say, though, if you do lots of exposure, that something is wrong by any means if they don't grow up to be an adventurous eater. That's totally fine too. It's just really laying that foundation and giving them the option to try as many things as possible. And I think the other piece of what I always try to incorporate, it's not always about the food either, right? It's about like, it doesn't need to be trying the food. It's like helping in the kitchen. Like no task is too small, especially for the little ones. Like, can they help stir? Can they help mix? Can they put the napkins out on the table? It's just like that partnership with the adult that really like helps to just make them, a better positive piece of their life in terms of food.
That's excellent. And I love that you get to see this interaction between adult and children a lot. What about adults that maybe don't feel that comfortable in the kitchen, but who really want their children to be comfortable? Do you see that in classes when you have both adults and children? And maybe like, how do you encourage the adults to go for it, to be brave and to try the different activities and experiences?
Yeah, it's interesting. Classes that I do for the littler ones, parents stay with them. And I think one piece that I always try to emphasize is really just not putting any pressure on kids to try it. So, letting them kind of explore on their own, at their own pace. And sometimes, it's funny, I see the adults then also like, hey, I could do that too. Or another thing that I try to really emphasize too is it doesn't need to be complicated. Like, we don't always need to make gourmet food every night. Like, do you have the foundations of a balanced meal? It does not need to be this really long, in-depth cooking process that still helps families put a balanced meal on the table. Which I
Great.
think sometimes gets lost in the message of nutrition and health out there.
Absolutely. So I know just clients I've worked with on the fitness side, they think, oh, I can't eat healthy because it takes so long or it's so expensive. And it sounds like you're really doing a great service to so many with that encouragement of, no, there are simple ways and there are ways of just sometimes it's about, right, expanding our knowledge and just knowing different options are out there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even just simple things, putting a quick plate together of, frozen vegetables with a simple protein. I mean, there's honestly been nights I've put together like almost like a snack plate. I have like crackers for my grain. I have cheese and like yogurt or something for my protein, and then like some fruit, and that's okay, right?
Absolutely.
You can make something really simple and still have those like basic components of a good plate.
I'm queen of frozen vegetables. The amount of
Same.
right organic frozen vegetables, you don't have to worry about them going bad. It's so quick and
Exactly,
easy.
exactly.
Yes, absolutely. So now I really want to hear how one of your cooking classes work. Can you walk us through?
Yeah, for sure. So as I said, I partner a lot with libraries, rec centers, like local organizations, kids play spaces that offer enrichment classes. So basically, how my classes work, they're about an hour long. I'll have a recipe that we're making that day. The other week at a library, we were doing pumpkin pancakes, which was really fun. So the kids will get to participate. They'll get to mix, measure, help read the recipes if they're old enough. So I always like to incorporate some like other skills too. Like, okay, if we need 2 half cups, how much is that? So there's like those other little like academic lessons built in there too. And as we're going, I incorporate some nutrition information, and I don't love to make that the focus, but they're still getting that information, whether they kind of realize it or not. But they're also getting to chop and cut and mix and learn, and then kind of see their creation come together at the end. And obviously the best part, eat
Yes,
when it's all
yes.
done.
I know that was it my fifth or sixth birthday, we actually did a cooking class for it. And I still remember it. It was so much fun, and you have all your friends there and you're learning. And there's such an empowerment too of being a young child and saying, look what I did, and I made this happen. And that's really cool that you are out there helping kids to really feel those feelings.
Yeah, totally. And I always try to encourage the kids, like, this is your creation. So if you do it a little differently, if you put it together a little different, if you want this on the side, or, like giving them that space to be a little creative too, so that they don't feel like they need to do everything a very certain way. Cooking's
Yes.
meant to be fun.
Yes. And you said, that you can really start young. So with my 2-year-old, what are some things that maybe I could do in the kitchen with him? And I'm not just saying that selfishly. I know there's other moms and dads out there listening with 2-year-olds. And you just the concept of he's at that age where he's just starting to figure out life in terms of moving through space and trying to copy what adults are doing. So maybe what are a couple
Totally.
things that someone, as young as 2 could be doing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think at that age, it's such a great time for them, even just to be like next to you at the counter and watching what you're doing. I always like to have kids like 2 to 3 years old. They love scooping, they love mixing things. You can even have kid safe knives, and they can start like learning to cut some softer things like strawberries and bananas are always a really great intro food that's nice and soft and easy for them to practice on. So yeah, just like those really really simple things that they can start doing, and so just not being afraid to let them get a little messy, because right, they're two,
Yeah.
they're little kids. So just remembering that it won't always be perfect, and just letting them kind of explore and help as much as they can.
You're so right. They love it. They love it. So thank you for those ideas. And now talking to the parents and what you wish that they would teach their children regarding the kitchen and nutrition and that element of being in the kitchen. What are a couple things that you really wish, I mean, and maybe for us adults too, that we would know regarding all of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of nutrition, there's obviously so much information out there in terms of nutrition and health right now. But I think it's always, to me, reminding parents that, as I alluded to earlier, really keeping it simple. Like, nutrition does not need to be very complicated. Are you generally eating a balanced diet? Are we exposing kids and ourselves to vegetables, fruits? Are we getting whole grains? Are we getting protein in our diet? And like, one day or one meal is not going to make or break our health. Food's still meant to be enjoyed, and that's like a comfort thing as well. So I think just really like keeping in mind that nutrition and food is really all about balance at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And I have to ask you, do you have a favorite dish to make?
Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, as a dietitian, okay, so my favorite my favorite vegetable is Brussels sprouts. I love 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 roasted Brussels sprouts. They're my absolute favorite vegetable to choose a more healthy food, nutritious food. But I mean, I love to like bake too at home. So I love to make like cupcakes and cookies and things like that too, so that we still have some things to enjoy.
I also love Brussels sprouts. Excellent choice, too. And well, thank you for this, Nicole. I really appreciate it. And where can people find out more online?
Yeah, so my website is culinarycreativesnj.com. I'm also on Instagram at Culinary Creatives NJ. So you can find me there as well as my website. And yeah, hope to hear from you.
Excellent. Thank you, Nicole. I've got to send you a picture when I get my son set up at home then.